So, like you said, it is looking like it's going to come down to these last few games, which has kept it really, really exciting for everyone. Russia wins this, they take out the trophy, they lose with a bonus point, they take out the trophy, they lose, and then it's all to play for, isn't it?
Well, there'll be many Hong Kong fans around the world hoping that they will get a lick at the championship. But at the moment, as you can see there in the red, the Condors of Chile, and they have come to Hong Kong and impressed greatly over the last couple of weeks, or the last 10 days I should say, particularly the man standing fourth in at the moment, the blonde-headed flanker, Petrovic. He has been a real find, very busy, robust, hard-hitting flanker as we get into the handshaking, which is always part of the arrangement here at the Hong Kong Football Club, as the Russian team in the sky blue with red socks on your screen to the right receive the dignitaries first. And probably not a bad wee handshake to be making at the moment. Better than some of the old fish heads we've seen out there, Moses.
You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong. And that's just going on with what you said about Chile. Chile Sevens rugby has just shown massive improvements over the last few seasons, and you can see it transferring into their 15s program. They have come out here and they've been quite a package, haven't they? They've shocked quite a few people, and they've been very, very competitive.
Well, let's go back to the top of the tournament, and Chile were first out of the box against Kenya, where they took them out 23 points to 3, and straight away up front showed that they had a certain amount of, well, grit and determination. Then they played Hong Kong and they laid it on the line again, and Hong Kong were able to overcome Chile despite their powerful up front effort. But today really seems to be a match-up between two forward packs, and one would think that despite the coach's instructions, there'll be 16 blokes hooking straight into it.
Absolutely. You'd hope that for Chile's sake they actually don't fall into that. However, like you say, it might be very difficult for them to move away from that game plan. You'd probably be wanting them to move Russia around if they're going to have any chance in this game. Russia have shown they've got quite a very dominant, strong pack, and I reckon if they can move them around the park and get the ball out wide, that they may stand a chance.
Well, we get ready now here in Hong Kong as a little bit of light breaks through the clouds for the national anthems of Chile and Russia. First of all, it's Russia. The Russian fans in good voice, and so they should be. Their team's been looking very strong this tournament time now for the national anthem of Chile. Well, strong, passionate, powerful, and those are just the singing voices. The Chilean Condors get ready to take on the might of Russia, 2 times the champion here in Hong Kong for the Cup of Nations. As we go through the sides, and the Russians present again in a powerful forward pack. Krotov at number 8.
Yep. Gotcha. Thanks,
Elgin, I don't know if there's a bigger man in the competition. For Doko, we've seen him running with the ball in hand so many times. And of course, it's all around number 10, Ramil Gayson. For Chile, well, there's been some changes to the teams that opened up the game. No Soto today. Bursic comes into number 8. But still, they have some very strong midfield runners in Ignacio Lorenez. The reserves, some strong hitters coming off the bench. Number 22, Gritsenko for Russia.
30 seconds.
And of course, the flanker that we spoke about earlier, Anton Petrovic for Chile, will make an impact whenever he gets onto the pitch. There's no doubt about it. Stephen Copeman, the referee for today's international. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, is where the silverware is at. A top effort from Russia will see them take the title for the 3rd year in a row. Standing in their way, Chile. Moses Bailey, as the kickoff comes, thoughts and comments.
Yeah, absolutely right there. As we're about to kick off everything to play for in this game, Russia wins, they win. Chile wins, they stand a chance of winning. So, like you said, all to play for, and here we go.
Jason gets the test match underway. It's the 2017 Regal Hotels Cup of Nations Game 5 in the red. Chile in the blue with the red socks. Russia, I said, 2 times the champion. Straight away, the exit play for Chile. Here's a mistake early from Russia. So Chile flooding through. Great work from the number 8, Bursic. Russia.
Solid defense.
Powerful defense on the short side. Waiting now. Lastra. He puts and goes. Chile testing the wide defences of this Russian defence.
Great
testing
offload.
It well. Well, already the bounce of the ball favours those who work the hardest. Moses Bailey.
Yeah, it was a great chase there, straight from the kick. Put Russia under a lot of pressure, and Chile were able to force the turnover. Went out wide, probably a phase or two too early. Should have crashed up maybe once or twice more, but they're still deep in the 22. Let's see what they can do.
So Russia from a defensive position. Selski with the ball. Calmly taken at 8. Or by 8, Krotov, and away they go. Uncontested, and it doesn't matter. Russians keep it going. Selski peels off the ball. Great call from the AR. Looks like a loose arm up high, but Russia play on. Quite happy to carry the ball against Chile. Good to see some enterprise. Gayson, second man play, and they managed to break up the defensive line a little bit, but can't get through the gain line. 9 for Russia. Dorofeev. There he is there. Looks on the short side, onto the right boot and down the fat tracks. Brought in now by Chile, and let's see where they launch their attack from. Running it up and over halfway. Tremendous run for Chile as they bring it back to the 10 metre. Lastra taken in a big tackle. 3. Virginia.
Unfortunately, forced the pass there, trying to offload, trying to stretch him out right, and the unfortunate knock onto the ball go to Russia. Looking like a good start to the game. Bit of movement left and right there, but Chile definitely aren't here to lie down, that's for sure, Jed.
They're certainly making a chase of things. I think Russia just quite happy to build up their tempo into the game. There's no doubt about it that Chile will be looking to push the tempo against the favoured opposition.
You back Krotov to go off the back over here. They got a solid scrum. They got at least more than half the field to work. He's been very strong on attack this tournament. As you can see where he's packing in between the flanker and the lock forward. So it might be just that they're looking to get quick ball straight to the backs. And here we go.
Rafiev, ball back to him as he doubles round. He gets into space. A bit of a miss hit on the kick. He's in his whiskey. Manages to get the ball down range. He's falling back for it. Flanker. Serchev. Ball is slow. Plenty of Chilean pressure here at the moment. Big shot put in by Bastian Bergener of Chile. It's slow, and there's the reason. Early pressure starting to pay for Chile, Moses.
Absolutely, it was great defence. There was a big hit that big number 8 crashed it in, and they were able to go low on him, got him a bit isolated, and forced the penalty. You'd have to think that this is going to be 3 points coming straight from Tomas Ivaneski, who's been really good at his kicking this week.
He was pretty effective through the first 2 games. Scored the opening try in the tournament. The ball was laid on beautifully by Santiago Videla in the first game against Kenya, and he has been totaling most of the Chilean points on offer in Hong Kong this week. It seemed to be a bit of a go-to for this Chilean side.
It's nice to see Chile so positive on defence there. Even on defence, the defensive line was coming up strong. They had a good line speed, able to put the tackles in, chop nice and low, and able to get the men over and cause the turnover penalty, and see if it's 3 points.
And it's Whiskey. His kick is good, and it's Chile open up the scoring after 5.5 minutes, leading Russia 3-0. It's a scenario that all the mathematicians have been working on since they've got to the ground earlier this morning. And Chile so far, on behalf of Hong Kong, doing the job exactly as they were meant to do it. Certainly the way the home fans will be thinking about it. Hundreds joining online. Hello to Hungary and people listening right around the world. This earlier time of 2 p.m. in Hong Kong is the restart. Fetched by number 7, Javier Richard.
Taken back.
And downrange it goes through Saavedra. Pushing now. Krotov takes the ball up, 8 or 9 metres inside the Chilean half. Ball in hand. Gayson takes a dart at the line. Haven't seen him really carry it too much in the last game or so. Russia starting to try and develop a pattern now. Dorofeev finds a man out wide. It's rushing blitzing defence from Chile on the far side. Russia into the midfield, moving pretty smartly. Gayson feeds it wide into space. Big hits from the Chilean defence as they lay the Russian ball carrier over, and now the Russians looking to play the width. Krotov, far side, looking marginally stretched at the moment. Chile, they'll take him right out as far as they can, Russia.
Play advantage, 3 offside. Penalty
On the
advantage.
15, just playing a little bit of hide and seek with them now. Dragging that defence across in front of the Fosgate stand. Long now, you'd expect to see Russia really release the ball as they find the next big man, Elgin, and he comes flooding into the line in front of the sticks now. Big midfield set up. Great work at the breakdown by Chile, slowing things down, making it difficult for Russia. Still, they peel away. Taking small yards at the moment. Dorofeev, he looks. Finds a first receiver. They're starting to line up a bit now. The short side looking full for Russian players, but they've pressured themselves, the Chileans, and come away with a penalty.
Yeah, it was a great attack there from Russia. They used the width. They made a lot of meters. Still got a hold up there. Chile was great defense, great covering on the far left-hand side. Managed to keep working, and milk the penalty for offsides. And you can see the confidence the Russians have, going straight for touch and hoping for a drive over here. They've been very, very strong in their lineouts this week, Jed.
Well, they are organised. I think they know they're potentially in the mind game that is international sport. The ability to drive one over here against Chile will have more than just an effect on the scoreboard as they lock it up, and it does number 4. Fedetko goes and he reaches out, and I think he might have taken it, the big man. He's a skylab of an individual, and he literally just took the ball and fell over the line.
Yeah, sneaky little play there. Looked like they were going to set up for the drive, and instead he dummied through and just reached over himself, full stretch, right on the line, and Russia hit right back.
Well, fascinating, isn't it? Russia, they go to the corner, and instead of playing the heavy hitting game, they draw one in through finesse. Fedotko, he has been a player that has really stood out since he's been here. He's a big man, he's carried a lot in the first 2 test matches. Very mobile. Certainly keen to get amongst the action. He's done well as he manages to take Russia 5-3 with the kick to come.
Yeah, it was a great play, especially after the first line-out when they drove. The Chileans didn't give any defense there, and as we see the kick go straight over, so Russia extend their lead to 7 points to 3. You'd have to think that Chile would like to hit back immediately almost from this kick, try and get a bit of possession. They've been a bit starved for the last few minutes, Jed.
Well, it's a good effort from Russia as they go down. Chile restart through their number 10, Pizarro. And that, well, how often do you see it? The first play after a score turns into a bit of a Barry Crockett.
Absolutely. Not ideal there for the Russians. The last thing you want to do is, after scoring points, is give away territory and possession. And this is very, very deep in their half, 5 meters out. Chile will want to make this count. Interesting first scrum of the game.
Crouch.
Well, what a place to have it.
Bind.
Just a reminder that Hong Kong were able to
Set.
basically flush out 3 attacking or defensive penalties from Chile. Russia won't have to worry about it because they've just dropped it down a gear and just about pushed them straight off the ball. They've taken the penalty. They'll go for the line. It could be a try, and it is a try. So a Russian mistake early leads to a Chilean try, and they strike back 8 points to 7.
It all came from that mistake from the kickoff, and as you said so correctly, Jed, the last thing you want to do after scoring points is give away that territory possession through your own mistakes. 5 meter scrum, looked like they were completely dominating the scrum, but the penalty went their way, and the halfback wasn't going to be denied from that close out.
Saavedra, the halfback for Chile, the try scorer. Good presence of mind, and there is a willingness, you can see it, for Chile, keen to play a high tempo against Russia. I think they feel that might be the way to take on Russia, who you could accuse of being slow starting, but once they got going, they sequenced their way down the pitch and created the pressure. Chile, though, were able to force an error in the red zone, and a good win, or a good try. That was the halfback. 8 successful attempts from 11 for Ian Nizwiski. And ball just veering away to the inside of the uprights, and so the scores remain a 1 point gap as Chile lead Russia 8 points to 7.
Now looking at that try from the scrum, from the penalty, even though the Chileans were able to get the quick tap penalty and go over, you'd have to think that the alarm bells would be going off because it looked like they were moving back at a rate of knots there. You'd want to think that they try and keep it away from that set piece, or at least make it a quick hook, aka Japan South Africa style 2015 World Cup.
So the restart from Gason. Well taken. On the 8. Bursic. Saavedra moves it on. There'll be a kick coming shortly. And here's the exit for Chile, and it's almost contested. It was certainly, having a good look at it, was Balbotten, the Chilean winger. Came charging through at a rate of knots, but in the end, and the iron replay shows he's come through it, he's hit the man in the ear. Rush of blood to the winger. Not often you see that happen.
Rush of blood or the big hit? Cheddar.
Spotted two things here. Moses, expert comments coming from the Hong Kong Cricket Club and Hong Kong International. Moses Bailey. Ball overthrown down the back and into the arms of number 16.
Ball's available. Tackler.
Savant Vedra. He looks to bring it this side, and he brings it to the short side through number 8, Bursic. Carrying it on. Urging it.
Looks like a good turnover there from the Russians. Very strong on his feet.
Russia, and the ball is there, and they'll be hunting it. And Selsky leaves it for Dorofeev. Moves it on to Bakiev. Dorofeev again to Selsky. Doubles round, the halfback releasing Gason now. And there's the speculator as he plugs the corner down there. Forces the Chilean outside back, and I think that's Bolbonton again onto the right foot. Good yardage gained by the Russian team.
Absolutely there. He said he's taken that back into the 22 and cleared it right out there. Great net gain from the Russians, and you'd think that they want to use their strong set piece over here, but they've kept the Chileans on their toes here, having used two separate maneuvers in the last two line-outs. You'd have to think that this time over here, being a little bit further out yet, are they going to set the maul again and try and rumble it down? Put the pressure right on the Chilean team.
Well, it could be the curve. They've gone around the front, though, and there's no resistance at all offered from Chile as Russia, Sen Andrei, Temnov, and Temenov.
Just outstanding. Just as we said that they might drive it up, they've tried in 3 line-outs, 3 separate different moves, and they've pulled every one of them off. Another try. Outstanding.
IM replay just shows it's a simple willy away around the front. And again, just that little tickle under the chin, and the Chileans responded by forming a maul head to break it down. They committed too many, left the open side, or the short side well open, and Temnov strolled in. It's a good finish from the big man. Gason left with a pretty good kick. Russia strike back 12-8.
Russia looking really dangerous at the moment. When they've been down in the attacking zone, they've made a count every time as we wait for the kick.
Gason's kick to convert the try for Temov is over, and that's 14 points to 8. And again, it's another try through finesse rather than brute force. And the point being made at the top of the game was, were Chile going to take the bait and get into a stoush up front? Twice they've set the picture up for them, and twice they've used finesse to go around them.
Absolutely. You'd have to say that the Russian game plan has been outstanding at the moment. They know the Chileans want to take them on up front. They've set for that maul twice, and they haven't been ready for the little trickery, and it's resulted in 14 points.
So the Russian exit from Gason, pretty decent one as well. There's no mistake like there was on the first restart. Coming up to the 18th minute. 14-8 the score. Just joined us now. This is game 5 of the 2017 Regal Hotels Cup of Nations as Vaedra takes the ball and Saavedra makes a great game up to the 22. 12 is Lorenz, and Lorenz, he manages to link up.
Saavedra's been very dangerous today. He's looked incredibly nippy around the breakdowns. As he comes up, good service there. The ball goes wide.
They push wide. Disalliant into the action. Quick clean out on the close to the public stand, and Saavedra manages to push the ball on, and now they shovel it even wider. 8. Bursic still going. Powerful. They're trying to run through them at the moment.
Play advantage.
Pizarro gives it away to Belbonton. Saavedra. His release. And this was. Well, you've always got to be cautious when you see a bloke like this move up into the line. Obviously playing the advantage, but he's had a fly at the drop goal, and it is Chile who will take the penalty advantage. I won't be too surprised to see them go to the polls on this occasion.
It was a great run there by Bursic. He beat 3 defenders. He on the outside of one, used the fend in the other, and then busted through the third. He was able to set up some good ball. I've been impressed with the Chilean clean-outs. They haven't been throwing a lot of numbers in there, but they've been very, very useful when they have cleaned out. Ball was able to come back. Fullback got himself in a position for a drop goal. Wasn't very tasty at all, but he's got the second chance to top this one.
So, point scoring machine, Thomas Ian Izwiski. His penalty attempt is pretty straightforward. 3 points coming in for Chile, and the gap now reduced to 3, 14 points to 11. First quarter gone, first 20 minutes over and done with. Moses Bailey, thoughts and comments?
Just when you think Russia are going to pull away, because if you look at the tries that Russia have scored, they've looked pretty easy. They look like the dominant side, but as that happens, Chile are able to just hit back with a try of their own and now a penalty, so they're keeping within distance, and that's all a team like Chile needs, is just to be there in the game, and it'll grow with confidence, and who knows what could happen then, Jed.
Great run through from number 14. We've seen him do it before. Davidoff, he's been a find on this tournament. Got himself to a lot of action. Now, Rudenko. Gayson goes wide, and the ball bounces off the shins of Zozanov. Zozanov and Davidoff, I think they have really stepped out today. Russia with a very, very strong lineup out wide. Zozanov has been one of these outside backs. He's pretty much doesn't matter what side of the field the ball's on. If he thinks it's on, he's the kind of guy that'll go over and attack.
It's unfortunate there for Russia that the pass went to ground, but they are looking very, very dangerous with ball in hand.
Stolen by Russia off the top. Dorofeev. Oh, and straight through goes Temnov again. And Temnov scores a brace in the space of 10 minutes. Well, Chile caught snoozing on the inside channels, Moses Bailey.
Just like we said there, Jedi, just every time that Russia get into the 22, they've come away with points, and they're making it look pretty easy, unfortunately, from Chile. Chile will once again have to try and respond to this. You'd have to think that the coach will be saying something along the lines of just getting their hands on the ball and playing a bit of territory up this side, because when they've been up here, they've looked a bit dangerous, but it's looked very, very easy for Russia during parts of this game.
It's great shots on the IM replay from our camera team here, and you saw how easily Temnov went through the gap there. And this should be a regulation kick for Ramel Gayson, and in fact he's away with it, and it's over, and that's 3 from 3. And tries do make the difference. 3 converted tries is 21 points to 11. My word, Temnov. Well, he'll be keeping his nose in and around the ball, I suspect.
Absolutely. He's got himself a double in 20-odd minutes. He'll be looking for the hat trick, that's for sure. You'd have to think that Chile are going to have to get their hands on the ball for the next 5 minutes and just concentrate on that and see what they can do with a bit of territory and a bit of possession.
So the restart from Chile, down, secured by Russia, big tackle by Bolabontan. Yeah, Gayson, and they go wide, and it's partially left behind. It's scrappy stuff in front of their sticks by the Russians. Not very organised at all. Now Dorofeev finds himself a work group. It's hit up by Fedotkin, or Fedotko I should say. Dorofeev, Gayson, right foot. Exit play from Gayson. It's fielded, and it's play on for Chile. Saavedra, the ball going to ground, disappointing stuff, and yep, there's no doubt about it. The word is play with pace, play with tempo for Chile.
Absolutely, it is very unfortunate there. He's put it down with no real pressure on him. Chile can ill afford to be giving away possession to the Russians, especially at set piece time, when they've looked very, very strong. Centre field scrum. Yeah, a lot of options here, Jed, a lot of options. The number 8's been very, very strong. Their backlines looked very attacking, very potent as well on attack. You'd have to hope that Chile can get some good line speed here and try and get them beyond the advantage line and try and cause a turnover and put a bit of pressure on.
Dorofeev, short side, they play Gayson. Steps through the first one, well over the game line. Saavedra tries to seal the ball, but he can't. Russia playing the short side sequence well, as there he is, Krotov, the number 8, and Russia have swept down the mid-quarter of the field and drawn the penalty out of them. Dorofeev decides it's all go. He plays on. Now they move it. Gayson will lock the pump through. Sozanov comes charging in, but it's taken in well by the blind, or the left winger, Velarde.
Oh, he's done so well to get out of his in-goal area there. That was quite tremendous.
Back.
And Russia throw the Chileans to the wall. And now Gayson, he decides to take on the first up defenders up to the 22. Pick and go by Temnov.
He wants his hat trick.
He does want it. You can see it's obvious. Dorofeev, he finds some big fatties to get the ball to. Short side, they try and plug it. It's this tick-tock play by Russia, and this could be
a bit of cheese here, Jedi.
We can smell it coming, and indeed it is. The Gruyere has been hoisted. And away they come, down to 14 now after 26 minutes. Chile now all have to absorb. Russia right on the attack with only 14 men. So we take a look, and just launching himself through is number 4, Virginet.
He'll be a bit of a loss for Chile as well. He's been really good. He's been working really hard in the loose start this week over here, and it's really unfortunate. He's played the ball from the position or off his feet, never taken off the scrum off. I mean, there's so many penalties there. And that right there, Jed, as we just seen, was a massive error. It looks like they've kicked it directly into the in goal and allowed Chile to get away with a free dropout.
Well, a little bit of luck for the Condors, and they won't be too upset about that. As they prepare to restart, and they do, and it's literally down the middle of the field, taken off the foot by Dorofeev, picked up by Gayson. Now he tries to inject himself into the line. 15 for Russia, way above. Yeah, Dorofeev finds the marauding Morozov, and he moves the ball on to Baitiev. Dorofeev.
Leave it.
Gayson.
Watch that, Max.
Ball back on the inside to Temnov. He's not held.
Backwards.
Bit of a hot potato at the moment as Davidov comes off his wing to the far side and gets in on the action. It's a back coach doing his job. There he is, Baitiev.
Red, get out. 1, roll out.
He's looking short side again. switch it round and come open. Doesn't look that way as he does a wrap around, lobs it over the top. Sozanov breaks the gain line. A Russia get back on the front foot. Dorofeev, and there's a penalty there. Not moving away, is that the call? No, looks like a bit of action on the head, it might have been.
A bit of a neck roll there, it looks like. We're just cleaning out a bit too high. Chile will use this time, I'd say, just to regroup a bit. Down to 14 men. A couple of men are out on their feet there. Defense isn't easy when you're one man down, especially against a powering side. As we look at the replay, yep, neck roll there on 16 by the Russian player. So legit penalty, and Chile will soak this up and look to gain some yardage down their left-hand side touchline.
Well, it's one of those crazy situations that
Time back on.
even if Chile battle bravely here
back
for
on.
the next 8 minutes with 14 men, the net effect is that dumped a lot of energy trying to see Russia off. That energy could be used at the back end of the game for either attack or defence. Russia will be quite happy just to pile the pressure on. They've got a good lead. If they can start taking the wind out of these Chilean players, it's a very good win. As that steal from Russian, it's moved now smoothly across the back line. 13 is Golonitsky.
It's like an unfortunate knock over there. It is great play. Stretched them out wide, looking for the inside ball. Is tapped back by the Chileans, and on the recovery, the
Scrum down.
outside centre Golonitsky was unable to regather, and it'll be a scrum down to Chile, which I don't think the Russians will mind too much.
They'll be very happy indeed, and
Can you come?
they haven't seen too much of their own half in the last 10 minutes, Russia. Will be making them feel even more comfortable. This opportunity to put even more pressure on the Condor pack. So they push, and there's the heat comes on. Try to break away. The ball comes back to Dorofeev, and he gets it on to Bozanov. And the big man goes for the corner, and he got in. Oh, he used toes like you get in the Bolshoi ballet. Well, we'll go to the replay. Let's have a wee look at this. Dorofeev gets it away to Morozov. And Morozov, he's taken that. It's a great hit from the midfielder, who's immediately gone to the deck afterwards.
He took a lot of contact there, and give him credit, he did well to force the play into touch there.
Lavenderos was the player that took the prop on. And physically he came off a little bit worse for wear, as you would expect. Of course, front rowers being the ultimate rugby athlete, biggest, strongest, heaviest, great singing voices.
You're not wrong, you keep going, the list is endless. Well, scrum down, 7 versus 8, 5 metres from the line. You'd have to think that they'll have to go for the push over here,
The line out.
Jed.
Stay until the
Or
line
unless
out
they're
is
going to do one
over.
of their
I don't
little
wanna hear
line-out
from
tricks
you
again in the scrum.
Well, it could be interesting to see how they go. They have been resisting the urge to really flex Russia, preferring instead to use strategy and tactics.
Interesting, once again, the Krotov is packing in between the flanker and the lock forward, so you'd have to think, yep, he's looking for control, keeping in that first channel. And the halfback.
That's a try. Dorofeev skirts in on the carpet, and Russia score. And that is a try. I think that might give him the bonus. And we could be watching potentially a trophy-winning performance from Russia now. Beautifully held. The IM replay showing pretty clearly. Just straight under the armpit of Saavedra. And that, Moses, is how it's done.
Absolutely. You'd have to think that if the halfback hadn't have picked that up and gone over, that the penalty try would have been beckoning. The Packers looked exceptionally strong for Russia today, and it just seems that Chile's got no answer there. They have been manfully defending and did really well to stop the try a few phases earlier, but were unable to stop the juggernaut of Russian pack.
So Ramil, Gason. Another kick wide. 26-11. Here's the approach. Good off the boot. Looks on target. And it's over. That's outstanding kicking from the Russian fly half. 4 converted tries now for Russia.
Oh, he's been on song. That is a tremendous strike. It didn't look like missing. Started in on the left-hand upright, just faded it over, and the Russians at the moment are looking quite unstoppable.
It's pretty ruthless. Number 8 packing down on the loose head side. They've overloaded the loose head for Chile, and they've really sunk it in, made the room for Dorofeev to get over as Gason takes the restart on the full. Gets it onto the right foot, exit play, it's all fairly tidy.
It's a great clearance, almost up to the halfway line. You'd have to think that Chile would have to be the next to score if they want to get themselves back into this game. Because if you see, if Russia puts in 1 or 2 more here, you could see this open up quite severely.
Look up.
Only a couple of more minutes, or 2 or 3 more minutes before they return to a full side of 15. Damage. And that 10-minute line has been done, and Russia continue to pilfer Chilean ball at the set piece. And there's a knock on, and it's eventually blown up by referee Copeman, but it doesn't help the confidence, it doesn't help the morale when you're getting shunted around in the scrums and they're taking candy from you on the line out.
Very difficult to compete against a bigger pack if you're losing all your set piece ball. So we know rugby's tiring, but even more tiring when you have to defend for long periods. So you'd be hoping that Chile would try and get a quick hooked ball over here, get it out as quickly as possible, and try and use the filament.
So they'll have to try and resist. Russia comes straight through the middle at them and try to roll them straight off the ball. Beautifully held at the back.
Ball's out.
Terrific work by the Chilean number 8. How he managed to keep hold of that, Bursic, I do not know. But that is a superb bit of work at the back by the 8-man for Chile. He won't see finer. He was under the pump right from the word go, and he managed to keep the ball at his feet. Terrific work.
Yeah, I'm very impressed actually with the Chilean scrum there, the fact they were able to keep their shape going back on rollerblades, but still able to keep their shape. And yeah, it looks like a very difficult afternoon for them with this very, very strong Russian pack over here, and once again going deep into the 22 from the milked penalty.
Well, Gason's kick sends Russia down into the red zone once again. Time probably only 15 out from the Chilean line as the yellow card ticks down for Chile, and they'll be waiting for a return of their 15th man. Ball is set.
Good defence on this time.
Dorofeev pretty keen to start a couple of working groups up on the open side if he can get them. Look at him marshalling his troops. Great angle here from the camera team as they keep just bustling away, and the ball looked like it went loose, but it's back on the Russian side of the ruck as the referee eventually comes in and blows a penalty in favour of Russia. And they immediately fan out. They take a look. The call here, it's pulling down.
What do you reckon, Jedi? Do you take the scrum, go for the line out?
Well, I don't think it really matters what I think, but I would have gone for the scrum. Particularly when you're that close to the sideline, you've got a lot of room for your backs to operate in. It's not like they haven't got bad backs. At the moment, it's all been done up front for Russia. 2 tries to Temnov, the loose forward. Try to Fedotke, the lock, and the halfback. Dorofeev is Russian now. Lock it up. They just switch it off. And they look like they might trot that one in as well, but a little bit of truck and trailer was the call. Indeed it was.
Yeah, it looked like they tried the shift drive over there, took it in and tried to hand it off, change the point of attack, but unfortunately, yeah, That man was looking for his hat trick, and unfortunately looked like he ran into his own player.
Well, who can blame him?
Smiles on his face. I'm sure he'll have another opportunity later on today.
Crowd.
Back to 15 now, the Condors.
Fine.
Back in
Set.
defensive position again as we come up only a few minutes from the half. And look at the heat coming in from Russia, and they wheel them around and send Birch back
Ball
over the
taken
try
over by
line.
Red.
And
Scrum
we
5
come out, it'll be a Russian feed. Score before the half. It'll be heartbreaking for Chile if they can hang on here. It'll hold them in some good morale going into the break. It'll be such a bad thing to try and see this Russian team scoreless. Maybe there was a little bit of complacency by Russia in the last play, Moses, where they thought they could just swing it over without really working too hard.
Well, it looks like they tried another little move there as well. You'd have to think that they'd be a bit more
Crowd.
cautious on this move here and try and make sure that
Five.
the points come. Once again, as you can see, Krotov is
Set.
packing in there between the lock and the flank, left-hand side, and that is in the first channel. And as they go for the pushover, you have to think that the halfback, there he goes out wide, and the winger
Davidov.
cruises in.
Have a look here. There'll be maybe some talk about whether a foot went into the touch line. And a fair bit of work going into the process here.
May I award the try?
It will be
no reason
intriguing
not
to
to
see
award
where
the
they go.
At first sight, it did look like a try, but they might want to go and check.
Because for me it's okay.
So
I think
a try.
if you see the ground,
Conversation.
I'm agree with you. Okay.
It is a try. In fact, referee Stephen Copeman says fair try to Russia. And they end the half with 5 tries and the conversion to come. By gee, they've been masterful. Look at this work in the back on the IM replay. And I don't think there can be too much dispute about that. It looked like the rear leg was up in the air.
Definitely not. That's a definite try. And once again, you'd think if the halfback or the Amberator's able to keep that in the scrum for a bit longer, they would have been able to milk that penalty try. But they just, like we said earlier, just very, very difficult to get any momentum in a game when your set piece isn't functioning.
Well, Davidoff, a try for the winger. Gayson's attempt at the conversion now. Extremely wide from the corner. Gayson off the right foot. Well, what can't he do at the moment?
He doesn't seem like he can't do anything. It just looks like a replay of the previous one. A tremendous strike, and once again, it didn't look like missing as it sailed between the uprights.
Look at that. It was a magnificent kick, wasn't it? You could just about get them over kicking it in the other direction at the moment. Gayson, I'm not too sure where they can go, but that is 5 converted tries. And my maths isn't the greatest, but 35-11, top 40-minute effort from Russia now. It's Chile restart, and it all
On the 10. Fortunately, look out here.
was played out, and it went over the 10, and this is position now for the Condors. Can they shut out the half with a bit of a sting of their own from their own tail as Russians pile into the contact there. It's like a turnover for Russia, but it's done illegally, not releasing according to referee Copeman. And what will we see Chile do here? One would think they'll have to send it down to the corner, Moses.
Yeah, absolutely. Going in, you'd have to say the last 16 or so minutes, they've seen very little ball, and right on the half, they need a bit of points. So looks like they're going for the sticks, just to try and calm things down a bit, try and get a few more points on the board, and try and regroup, and hopefully going to the second half with a bit more of a sting.
Well, 3 points here would take them to 14. Maybe they're confident of scoring quite a few tries in the second half. Who knows? But Ian is whiskey. He's the old dead-eyed dick, as they like to say.
Well, this kick brings them in within 3 converted tries, which could be psychologically uplifting for them at the half. They do need these points so very badly, just to give them that little boost going into the last 40.
Ian is whiskey. His kick. wide of the uprights, and they will go to the break. One would think at the half, and indeed referee Stephen Coleman calls half-time here at the Hong Kong Football Club. Game 5 between Chile and Russian, as number 15, the fullback for Chile, misses the kick on goal. And the score, 35 points to 11, really came their way. Now, we're in a position where they have to run down Russia. Can there be a bigger challenge?
Yeah, you'd have to think that this next 5 minutes over here is going to be really, really important to their confidence in the way the rest of the second half unfolds. You want to see them get involved, you want to see them get some hands on the ball, build up their confidence over here and actually be able to attack this Russian side, and then we'll be able to see what goes from there.
Pizarro gets the game underway. And Chile restart through the referee. Russia's exit down towards the halfway line in front of the Fosgate stand.
Now Gayson once again, tremendous take of the kick, nice and low on his bootlaces, and was able to make a great clearance. He's really having a top game.
Chilean line out, managed to secure that, even though the gap shortened up pretty promptly, and potentially referee Copeman. I want to see that again. It's unfortunate for Chile because they'd won the ball. Watch again. He's taken off the top by Russia. Another one against the throw. Tipped
A
off.
lot more solid defence there.
Almost upended. They're in the wrong fashion, but they truck on by Kiev. Now Gayson onto the right foot, coming through. Good chase line from the Russians, and they force the kick out of Chile. Paul Bonton.
A good result.
So, net gain for Chile. Important start. Still that line out misfiring for Chile, but they've come out towards the right end of the pitch. And Russia now through South. Picked up on the fly by the hooker, number 2, Disliant. Now,
One release.
Saavedra. And they go again, and Chile
Play advantage.
starting to put
11
the bite
slowing down.
on Russia. Great start so far, territory-wise, possession-wise. Can they turn it into some early points? A score here must be vital for Chile. Russia, not to be pushed around though in front of their own line. The big bodies come flooding through. Saavedra's called to take it short side there. Short-lived as he goes to try and sneak one over against Russia again.
Interesting situation here. You 5 out, your line-out's not working, your scrum's not working. You go for the old school tap and go, do a wall.
Well, we'll find out. They're going to back themselves in, though.
Ed, you've got the side on this.
As the new sub-on is Desaliant. Desaliant, the hooker,
Crowd.
coming in for Guaro.
Stability,
This
gentlemen.
is intriguing. A lot of interest in the outcome of this exchange. Game 5, 2017,
Crowd.
Regal Hotels Cup of Nations pitches live from Hong Kong at the Hong Kong Football Club. There's yet more debate, discussion.
One here. Let's
Referee,
go right. Okay.
Frank Copeman comes in one more time just to explain exactly what he wants to see. He'll be hunting and looking for any opportunity they've got.
Set.
44 minutes ticking through. Joining me in the commentary position, Hong Kong Cricket Club and Hong Kong International, Moses Bailey. Saavedra gets the ball up. Short ball it was to Bellardi
Play advantage.
in front of the sticks.
Advantage being played to Chile as it seems. They're only a metre out.
And in fact it is, and Referee Copeman brings him back to 5, blows time off.
Captain.
What a big change that was in the scrum there. It looks like they've got a new front row on, and that was a really, really good effort by the Chileans.
Know your team.
Got the ball out. The winger almost went in. Bolabotin almost got in there. Just got dragged down a meter, but the advantage was played, and you have to think after that last scrum that Chile might go for another one.
Indeed they do, and they've got the benefit of the sticks being right there now, so if they can hold it square, maybe get a little bit of front foot. Who knows? Let's see
Crowd.
what the Russian response is. One would think
5.
the Russians might gear it up and really put it in. A little bit of foxing going on in the front row.
Time after substitution.
Video analysis from Hong Kong
3
was
blue,
pretty
3
definite.
blue.
Can take the front row for Chile for a bit of a ride. Yes, Magomed Davudov makes his way into the field of play. So just a little bit more jiggery pokery from
Crowd.
Russia. Here we go. All important
Five.
scrum now for Chile. Chilean fans
Set.
right around the world will be looking closely at the outcome from this. It's not a bad drop. Big pressure from Russia. Off the back comes Birchich. He's taken down.
Stay up blue.
Krovtov gets over the top of that and disrupts it. Here's a penalty. Could be a card as well. In fact, it is. My word, it is. Moses Bailey, no surprise.
No, it looks like a complete change from the first half, with Chile being able to put a lot of pressure on those scrums and being able to win some ball. Just shows what the difference can make to a side. And now that they've gone one man down there, you'd have to think that they're going straight back for another scrum over here. And but they've got to turn it into points. Jeddah, they've got to turn this into points.
Indeed they do, but they've never had a better opportunity than they have right now. Krotov, the man leaving the field.
Crowd. 5. Set.
Saavedra, Bursic, ball goes loose, swooped upon by Russia.
Lost
The
Red.
desperation obvious there. They want to get away. They do get away, and Elgin shovels it on, but it's loose and it's messy, and it's not the Russia that went up the tunnel only 7 minutes ago.
No, that was very, very unfortunate there. It was a solid scrum, but the ball coming loose at the back there. Fortunately for Chile, Russia spilled it out wide, and they get a second bite at the apple over here. You'd have to think that being out wide, if you use the side, they might go straight to the backs this time and see if they can create anything.
Yeah, boys. Need to stay down. Okay.
So down to 7 men up front, Russia, down to 14
Max,
overall.
you got the side there, yeah?
Time ticks through, 35-11.
Crowd.
Chile still need to make the score.
Reset.
Take a bit of a chunk out of that lead. Absolutely imperative. Up next, game number 6, the final game of the
Crowd.
Cup of Nations, brought to you by Regal Hotels.
5.
And it will be Hong Kong taking on
Set.
Kenya. Saavedra feeds the scrum. It's all square, and in fact, a slight screw, and now Pizarro into the midfield onto 12. And that's
Nice
the
game.
runners.
Gayson with solid defence. Looks like they've held him up there and turned it.
Well, the ball is alive. It looks like it's off the ground, and it could be coming back to Russia. The referee says it was taken in. It will be Russian ball. Well, that's a big play, Moses.
Absolutely, no, big swarming defence there from the fly half and centre. Rudenko and Gayson were able to make the hits, keep him up off the ground. You know, waste a few extra seconds there, allowed the supporting players to get around. And once that had collapsed and have to roll away, and it was a turnover. Russia will be very, very happy to withstand these last 7 minutes without giving away any points.
Crowd.
Well, it
5.
will be a remarkable effort if Russia can
Set.
make your way through this period without dropping any points. See certainly confirms their status as possibly the best team here as they break away again. Jason's kick back to the opposite side of the field. Actually pretty much straight down the middle. It's picked up by Hannah's Whiskey, and now it's moved across to their number 11. What a big tackle on Velarde. Saavedra midfield, ball is loose. Lost forward is the call, and there's time off. I think there may even be a bit of a discussion between the assistant referees and the referees, and if we're lucky we may even be able to get a short replay of this. As it looks like they're going to talk about a tip tackle.
Either a tip tackle or a late hit. It was solid contact nonetheless. It's
Blue captain and number
I'd like to see
13.
Russia go down and lose another man now, go down to 13. That could make it very interesting.
Timnov being potentially called out. So look, and it is. Looks like it may be a tip tackle. And so watch on the IM replay, and he's, as you'd expect from a footballing nation, there's a little bit of acting there.
I think so.
Thrown in the air.
I think the refs and the TMOs, everyone's got it right over there. Penalty, but definitely not a yellow card there. It was just a good solid hit.
Probably didn't lay him down as softly as they would have liked, and in the end, at least he didn't land on his head. I think that was probably the key. Never at any point, I think, were the hips really any further through the 90 degrees. There's Chile now, sweep down. They managed to stay on attack.
It's been a good period of play for Chile for the last 10 minutes. They've had a lot of ball, and their set piece seems to be functioning a bit better, but we just hope that they can actually turn this into points over here as they set up the driving maul, and here they go.
Chile now, the Condors, ball in the boot as you can see. And now the hooker, Desalant, he stays with it. Finally, Russia bring them down. Saavedra darts, Pizarro caught. It looks like Selski with the ball. In fact, it is. Russia managed to pull the rabbit out of the hat again. There's Velarde. He won't take no for an answer, the winger. Throwing his might at the Russian forward pack, and he looks all steamed up, possibly feeling somewhat aggrieved at being thrown roughly upon the ground, but that's the game that we all know and love.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Once again, Chile's just unforced errors costing them a bit over here. They've been down here for almost 10 minutes, and they've put a lot of pressure on, but they've just been unable to turn it into points. You'd have to think that if they want to get themselves right back in the game, they've got to start making these small chances count. As we see a couple of subs being made here from Chile, it's going to come down to the next couple of minutes to see if they can actually turn this around and actually get a few points on the board.
So at the front, there'll be a rethrow, a restart. They called time on. Referee Copeland had called time on.
Time's on.
Now, Chile still on attack as 50 minutes ticks over. Need a score now. To the mid, it's stolen again. Great work by Fedotko, and through comes Temnov, and the call there is maybe a little bit of a truck and trailer, potentially.
Yeah, I don't think it seemed that none of the Chilean players made any contact with that driving maul, so having the player at the back there has caused accidental obstruction. So fortunately for Chile, they get a second chance over here in the form of a scrum.
One penalty because it's accident.
2 try scorer, double try scorer I should say.
Scrum down, Chile ball.
Evgeny Temnov making his way back to the scrum as they milk a few more seconds, and it's only a matter of time now before Russia are back to 15 men.
Set.
Chile, here's the feed, the Russian scrum holds, second shove, Bursic now, Saavedra, Pizarro, into the back line comes Velarde. Velarde taken by Sozanov out to the far side, and Balbonton loses the ball forward, and the opportunity goes begging for Chile, and somehow Russia managed to keep
Captain.
the Condors out of the nest.
Yeah, once again, some really good play there from Chile. They were able to get the ball wide, a couple of dummy runners in front, busted through the first tackle, and as you're looking for the offload, good pass over here, and once again that unforced error costing them.
Great work on the IM replay by the camera team there, bringing you some good action. Find that passenger play nicely. Gee whiz, he really got on the front foot, didn't he? Franco Velarde made the most of it. Just that last pass
Crowd.
couldn't quite go to hand.
Five.
Lowry's definitely fired up after he took that little bit of a dusting earlier. He's come out firing, and he's making meters for the Condors.
So we think number 22 for Chile is Francisco de la Fuente. Second five, only started the first two test matches in the Cup of Nations as Gayson helps to exit Russia. It's been, well, it hasn't been smooth sailing for the Russian fly half so far in the second half, but still playing very tidy football as 52 and a half minutes rolls by. Can only be another 90 seconds or so before Russia are back to 15. Chile off the top, that's a good tap ball. Saavedra, De La Fuente onto the 22, falls on the inside, manages to transfer the ball forward, and I think it was forward in the transfer.
Scored by Red.
Once again, that little unforced error. Chile really looking good. They're breaking the advantage line every time they go up, but every now and again it seems that they do a forced pass and they end up losing all that momentum. It's going to end up being Russia can be very, very happy with this last 10 minutes if they can hold Chile to no tries or no points at all.
Crowd.
So
Fine.
scrum now for
Set.
Russia is defensive into the flank position on the scrum. Came Kolesnitsky.
Trusted right boot of Gayson again, taking them up just beyond the 10-meter line, and Russia will be happy with that outcome. Chile have come out a more composed team in the second half, definitely. They've kept the ball a lot longer. The territory's almost been 100% in the half of Russia, and as they go wide, yeah, they take it up again. Good running.
De La Fuente spotted, uploaded, or upended, I should say. Saavedra's pass from his knees in his whiskey
Leave it blue.
takes
Hands
the ball.
out.
It's a rare occasion for him to come up and into the line. Now Saavedra dodges the referee and push it. Off to Lastra. Lastra tumbles a few over like Skittles, and here's to Salant. Still trucking it forward, this Chilean side. Saavedra. Pizarro for the line, and he breaks. Now he's looking for support. Could they go in? Oh, there's an opportunity gone begging. And now they turn it around. No, it's blown up. Davidov thought he might be away, but Pizarro had done everything right. Saavedra, he's shown it. It's a mismatch. The fly half scoots through. Ball back on the inside, went to ground. Javier Richard just couldn't get the hands on it. And the scoring opportunity that yellow card period had promised eventually came, and they missed it.
Unfortunately, that's the story of the last 10 minutes for Chile. Unfortunately, they've strung together some great phases, and they've looked really good going forward. They've been able to secure their set piece ball, which has made a huge difference. They've looked really dangerous on attack, but once again, just those small errors have not allowed them to finish. And unfortunately, they've only got themselves to blame right there. They could have easily come away with 2 or so tries in that period, and we'd be looking at a different game then maybe.
Well, congratulations has to go to Russia for seeing off that period of pressure It's not over yet though. Sozanov, he carries forward and he loses it forward. So an opportunity for Chile comes begging. It's not seen by the referee. Maybe they're still waiting perhaps for the AR to chime in, but looks like Russia might have had just a touch of luck as the ball goes into touch. Oh, well.
Yeah, definitely there. You'd expect that to be picked up because that was not a small knock on. Chile will feel a bit aggrieved there, but once again, we go back to those chances they've missed. They should have scored at least 2 tries by now, so let's hope that they can string together a few more phases, knock up a couple of balls in the midfield and keep attacking this Russian side. But as we say that, they get turned over once again at the set piece, Jed.
Well, Elgin did it all as he just plucked it out of the sky. Dorofeev got thrown on the ground, but Russia still have the ball. Now, one out from the ruck. 18, Davudov. Russia. Uzanov, now the replacement at halfback, Gayson. That looks like a big figure of Elgin. Gee, they're carrying a couple of big whoppers, this Russian pack in the second row.
I think the ref has just stopped the game over there, just for dangerous situation. The big fella was in the way over there, so he wanted to check, make sure he was all good. Looks like it'll be a scrum down to Russia. Midfield. No.
Restart play.
Referee Capeman. Russia's advantage at the put-in. Russia have spent, well, literally 18 minutes.
I'd like to see the actual stats. I'd have to think that it's over 95% territory to Chile in the second half.
Wow.
It's been very, very, well, I would say very, very impressive defense, very impressive defensive outcome, but a lot of that defensive outcome has been caused by Chile's own mistakes.
Uzanov hunting for the ball, and it's taken off at the back by Krotov. Uzanov wide now. It's like Rudenko. Golonitsky, I should say, and into space he goes, not held, and he gets up and carries on, and his numbers there as Russia flood into the half. Short ball, Davidov into the action. He loves getting off his wing, Davidov. Uzanov brushes the first couple. Onto the ground he's going. They must release him now. Chileans in trouble if they... Well, it looks like they may have given him a penalty away, and they have. Not entering from the correct angle is the call. And that, I think, is just that was just sheer desperation from Chile giving away that.
Solid run there by Golonitsky. He was very, very strong. He brushed through 3 or 4 defenders, was ankle tapped down, was able to get back to his feet. Ball came out wide, just a couple of players overran it there. Chileans were very aggressive in defense, but ended up going off their feet and coming from the side. And just like that, we talk about 95% territory has turned around, and now they find themselves 7 meters from their own line.
Well, the first quarter, or I should say, first half of the second 40 was almost spent exclusively in their own half. Most of it in their own red zone. Somehow, Russia have swept down range, and now they've arrived to put the heat on Chile. And lock it in up tight up front.
Hey, come out.
March it off towards the Chilean line. Condors in trouble here. Russia keep it coming. The referee, Capeman, brings them back, and again, accidental offside. The Chilean winger, Franco Velarde, is potentially still singing red about being upended. That's a winger's lot, unfortunately, as changes sweep in, and Petrovic comes in. Anton Petrovic. So Videla,
Scrum down.
first 5-8. He's showing a couple of very nice touches early on in the Cup of Nations. Makes his way in, as does Anton Petrovic.
Crouch. 5.
This will be an interesting 20 minutes with Petrovic on the paddock. As Russia look at the absolutely flex on Chile, and they force them back.
Number
And
9 offside.
Yeah, I was going to
Again.
say that. Sorry, Jed. I have to say that I thought the halfback there was offside with the new ruling that he can't pass halfway through the scrum. He was all over the number 8 there and allows Chile an easy exit.
Well, again, the situation, he might win the penalty, but as a member of the forward pack, you've just been whistled back 7 metres pretty smartly. So I guess there's always an upside as it's swatted and won again by Russia, and through come the Chileans, and the ball's kicked while on the ground, and ultimately it looks like, oh, is that Temnov? He's forward.
Looks like he might have taken contact on his knee there, and he does not look comfortable at all.
That'd be the old hyperextension. He wrapped his leg around the oncoming player's body. The magic spray comes, and look at this. Here we go. And yep,
Ooh. Took some solid contact there, unfortunately.
it's the
He's
sort
been
of
very
thing that
good
breaks
today.
the leg.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hopefully he'll be all right. It might just be a stinger. But it looked like some solid contact, and he's not looking comfortable at all at the moment.
Saavedra, the halfback, it was the one who might have copped the knee and the stomach on that one around the midriff. He'll be okay. Temnov is still on the ground and in quite a bit of discomfort. I guess the verdict will be once he gets to his feet, as he gingerly tries to get himself up. I don't think he looks too happy. In fact, he won't be getting his hat trick now as time blows off. I suspect that'll be a wee look under the hood for the Russian surgeon.
He gets a rousing round of support here, and applause from all the fans as he comes to the field. The man has played really well, getting his double, and unfortunately due to injury now not having the opportunity to go through and try and score the hat-trick, Cheddar.
Well, some would say that's why loose forwards shouldn't kick.
Who are those some that say that?
5.
He's let his guard down. He's been taken out by a halfback there. Hopefully that story balloons out to a whole forward pack by the end of it for his sake. Now Chile ball in hand. See how they look as Videla takes the ball into contact, and another penalty against Russia. And what is probably most untidiest of halves at the moment that Russia have played in the whole tournament. 35 points to 11 there. Comfortably in front with less than 20 minutes to play, but there hasn't been anything at all that's sparkling about their play in the second half.
It's been very difficult for them to gain momentum here. Their set piece hasn't functioned as well as the first half. They haven't had that complete dominance of possession, and it's allowed the Chileans to get back in the game and start actually playing a bit of rugby and creating a few phases.
Looking for Petrovic, and again it comes to Russia. That line-out ball just not going their way. Russia's front-line defence at the moment is that line. Is that
Set
line out?
piece, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. There's Uzanov. Now he just brings it across and finds the big frame of Davudov. Uzanov gets on the up and under. Coming through was Saavedra as the ball bounced and went forward, and he's not retiring or within the immediate vicinity was the call. In that case, the referee is just about available to ping anyone he likes on that occasion.
Wasn't a great kick, but sometimes those type of kicks end up working in your favour. as Gayson knocks it up towards the halfway line, and Russia will have an opportunity to string some phases together.
Blue 2, blue 4. Substitution.
Important phase coming in for Russia now. The score here
Red
would
9,
pretty much
red 1.
cross the T's and dot the I's as Fedotko makes his way off the pitch. And in comes number 19, Ilian. Fedotko's done all he needs to do today. He's been mighty in the line-outs. He's done a lot of work around the track. And he had the fall-over tries. Russia move it into the midfield. Gayson goes wide. Second-man play. Comes off the shoulder of Sozanov. And the Russians are there to support the man on the ground. Uzanov now. Gayson. He picks up another one of his big fatties. Now he keeps it rolling. Gayson goes wide again. Through Golonetsky. Golonetsky now finally to ground. Uzanov. They're playing with flow at the moment now, the Russians. Ball was down. That looked marginally forward off the transfer. And that's the sort of pass that gets a very cross look from the front row.
I was going to say, you'd be very, very lenient there on saying the margin. He almost gave it to him under the sticks, it seemed. It was great play by Russia. They stretched them out wide, and as they were coming back, you could see it seemed like he all of a sudden got in his way and felt like he had the need to offload that. Unfortunately for Russia, they were looking very dangerous out there, but Chile allowed a sigh of relief over here and see if they can mount a counter-attack from deep within their half.
Crouch.
Inside the final 15 minutes of play, Chile now 35-11, trailing Russia in game number 5 of the 2017 Regal Hotels Cup of Nations. Replays for the tournament brought to you by Interception Management. And
Crouch.
game 6 just around the corner,
5.
Hong Kong versus Kenya. So not a lot of listening going on up front. Maybe some frustration now starting to set in to the Chilean mindset.
Wise play there from Russia. They won the free kick, and all they're going to do is slow it down a little bit, drag all those forwards back into the scrum and try and create a bit of space out for their backs, because their backs have looked dangerous when they had ball. They just had sweet minimum this second half. We'll see if they can create something here. They looks like they're packing the blind side there, Jed.
Well, they've got acres of room on the open side if they wish to take it. It'll be who comes in who comes in where at the moment.
Leave him 21.
Steady at the back. Uzanov and down to Rudenko. Rudenko stays on his feet. Gee whiz, my whiz, gee whiz. That's good strength. Shoulder coming in from Velade. He still looks a little bit upset. Ball comes back. They trundle it back into the heavy traffic. Now, Alien. Eski got over it, and now it's away, and Sozanov looks like he might be in for the try, and he is in for the try. And if there's a player in the tournament so far who deserves a 5-pointer, it is indeed Sozanov, the winger from Russia, Vladislav. As we watch on the IM replay, and they just managed to keep it going. Terrific work. What a ball that was, Moses Bailey.
Absolutely. Once again, it's that man, Krotov. He's had an outstanding tournament, and he was on hand to pick up the loose ball as he sucked in 2 players, was able to get the offload. And well, not quite under the post, but the way with Gayson's kicking, you'd think this would slide over as well, Jeddah.
Well, he could have trotted it down to the car park, which is actually underground. I think Gayson would still probably kick this over. 12 from 13 in the tournament. Today's figures have been outstanding. 40 points to 11. Kick to come.
I think also that try there, Jeddah, sums up the difference between these two as we watch that kick sail literally straight down the middle. Russia, when they've had the opportunity, which has been very, very little in the second half, they've taken it, haven't they? As opposed to Chile, who sat for 15, 20, 25 minutes deep in Russia's half in the 22 and were unable to come away with a single point. It's been a big difference, unfortunately, in this game, the taking of the chances, and it's been linked very closely to those unforced errors.
Delighted to have the comments of Hong Kong Cricket Club and Hong Kong International Moses Bailey with us in the commentary box today as Chile restart short, out on the full, and
Option.
the
Scrum.
stake gets driven even further into the hearts of the Chilean players and the fans online as Russia come back to halfway with the loose head and feed. Tremendous game so far from Russia. Wonderful game from Russia. They've absorbed all the pressure where they've had to. Look tight in the areas where you wanted them to look tight. Been alert when they wanted to. They had to have been. It's been absolutely magnificent.
Couldn't agree with you more, Jed. I couldn't agree with you more. It's been a very clinical display from them. They were able to dominate that first half and pretty much put the game beyond the reach of the Chileans. And this second half, they've come out here and they've soaked up enormous amounts of pressure and given the Chileans once again nothing. They've been very, very miserly.
So there's a bit of action on the far side as eventually the ball comes under the control of Alien. Now Elgin. They're all going to line up here and just take a pop at it, one would think. Good to get that in hand firmly. Slowly they do, and now Uzanov gets it out to Gayson, and the up and under comes, and 4 men charging through, and the challenge beautifully taken by the Chilean fullback, and he sets sail up the track. He goes, and then he gets body checked by some random loose forward. We'll probably come back and see that on the replay. The arm is out by the referee as the shots come flying in left, right and centre here.
I think it's going to be a card because that was some massive contact, Ted.
Well, yes, it's fair to say Ian Izwiski, look, he's taken it beautifully and he set off down the track, and when he got going, I'm pretty sure he didn't think this was going to happen. Wallop. He has been absolutely walloped, and I can't quite tell what the problem was with that.
100% agree with you. Looking at that, he just was blindsided. He didn't see the winger. He sort of stepped into him, and it was just great contact around the ball area. You you have to feel a bit for him there because he did so well taking that ball in the air there under a lot of pressure, because once again it was a great kick by Gayson, well placed.
Well, the replay showed that pretty clearly. I might just say that there was no arms in that, but sometimes when you connect hard enough, the guy just pops out. You don't get a chance to get your arms around.
I think it's exactly the case over there. If you watch the replay once again, he sort of stepped in. It was more of a chest on chest, and as he tried to get his arm around, Gayson's not the fullback Inanevsky is not a big fella, and he was bounced away. And I'd have to say that I don't really agree with this yellow card decision at all.
Well, let's have a look at this. Ian Isqui, of course, safety first. That's everybody's agreeing on that.
Hey, number 4
that comes through. He takes a glance off Gayson, and then, well, really that Golonitsky's ball hit started on the ball. So the replay just showing pretty clearly. We get the benefit of seeing that again in the booth. Well, one can think that perhaps the contact was a little bit too adult for the referees. They were left somewhat queasy and therefore had to react. Not that I want to be negative.
Not at all, not at all. No, it's been a great game, played very, very hard, and Chile goes to the corner over here and looking to try and finish off this game in the last 9 minutes with a few increased set plays. Yeah, I suppose they're trying to look to make sure that their line-out is functioning a bit here, try and get their hands in the middle of the ball for a greater than 4 or 5 phases and see if they can actually make it count.
Well, as Ian Wilson has said, that was the boomfa.
Backwards.
It was. Petrovic, he picks up and charges forward. As we snipe up front too from
It's a maul.
reserve front row. That's held up, and that could be problems for Chile, and in fact it is. Smart work by Russia, Moses.
Absolutely. There's a big, the big fella got himself trapped up there. He tried to do the sneaky little pick and drive. The Russians were alert to that and were able to gang up on him and hold him up and have turned it over once again. Tremendous defense by the Russians, and just able once again, Jet, to soak up all that pressure time and time again and get away without conceding any points.
Chile
Crouch.
have been down a lot
5.
this half.
Set.
They've seen a lot of this area of the field. No real result. Russia under their second yellow card. Calmly take it off the back of the scrum. They've got the full 8-pack now, but they're just missing the loose forward. Elgin comes forward. Now they go out to Gayson, and Gayson makes sure of it down the commentary touchline. And Russia potentially will be just quite happy to box away here until the bell goes.
It's been a much improved second half here from the Chileans. They've kept the ball, they've worked it up, and it's been unfortunate that it's been their own errors that have cost them, because they have created opportunities, which the coaching staff will be very happy with. They've been able to create those opportunities against a very strong Russian side, but they'll be a bit disappointed in the fact that they've been unable to finish them. The Russians, on the other hand, have had very few opportunities in the second half, but they've made them count, and I suppose that's the difference. You know, with the experience that these guys have playing at a higher level constantly, that could be showing through here now.
So still they go, and they may move it forward through 22. Gritsenko just turning. Big, hard, tough run by Saichev. Now Gayson wide. Look at this run. It's a darting run by number 23.
And the diminutive fullback.
Nepjevoda.
And Izanevsky puts in a good tackle there to thwart the attack down that left-hand side. It was a good effort, especially after he just took a thunderous hit himself.
Chance starting up for the Russian fans as they realise now, barring some sort of crazy miracle.
I don't even think a miracle can save them over here. Can they get, what do they need? They would need...
well, they'd need a lot, Moses, let's be honest, including cats and dogs living together in perfect harmony. They would have to go something like that.
100%, maybe 6 intercepts in a row, 6 tries right after kickoff.
They can feel rest assured. And we are looking at a trophy-winning performance by this Russian team. Being put under pressure. Potentially they might have felt at the end of the first half it was in the cabinet, and it might have just been a switch flicked off at the back of the head for Russia to let Chile dominate the second half in the manner that they have. But in the end, 42 points to 11 speaks volumes about this Russian team. They've had 2 yellow cards. There's the edge downfield takes Chile out of their quarter, back up to the half. Very little angle to work with.
Yeah, you're right on the money there, Jed. It's been full value for money, the Russian side. They came out steaming in the first half and were able to make all their chances count and took out a big lead. Chile looked dead and buried, but to give them credit, they came out in the second half and they built the phases and they created the chances, but unfortunately the errors cost them quite severely, whereas Russia's been able to hold on. I think that to the coaching staff, the fact that they've been able to hold them to no points in the second half would be very, very satisfying.
So Russia now, Gayson, ball goes forward and it's hacked into touch. Goes forward, scrum restart. A little bit of nervous hands from Nepjevoda. There's scrum for Chile.
Crouch. 5.
Takes place in these final closing moments
Set.
of the fifth game of the Regal Hotels Cup of Nations. And massive shove coming in from Russia, and that's a big statement with only a few minutes left on the clock as Ramil Gayson steps up, and some mighty front row work for Russia. As they just shunted Chile off the ball. 3 minutes and change remaining in game number 5. Terrific performance by Russia in the first half. It was an onslaught. They slammed on 5 converted tries and 5 great conversions to Ramil Gayson. The ball goes to Gayson. He moves it in. It is in fact Saichev. Now they try and get around on the outside. Not held is the call. And 20 running through is Buryachenko, and he takes it to the ground. And Russia now sniping around with only 14 on the paddock. They take a look, they go wide, it's knocked down. Chile have to get a foot on it, but it's Russia hard on attack. And this could be the ultimate statement. They've bullied Chile down the park, and now they stand on the verge of putting one into them as they go on to take this match.
And along with this match, it seems that they'll make it 3 in a row, won't they, Jeddah?
Impressive.
Been very, very competitive over the last 3 years. They and with Russia in the sights of Hong Kong for the qualifying of the World Cup 2019, you'd have to say that it's quite a statement from the Russians over here. They're going to have to put in a big, big effort to be able to overcome this consistency that they've shown over the last 3 years.
Uzanov finds, looks like Elegant. They move it again. Gayson looks at it, tries to skip it over. It's put on the toe. Has he run that in? I don't think so. The whistle is gone. There's only 90 seconds or so left in the game. As Russia finished the game hard on attack. One man down. And this Chilean team, they came out absolutely bristling at the beginning of the game. And then they were basically turned into spectators.
Crowd.
I think the biggest problem, absolutely what you say, Jay,
Five.
is that they came out firing, but as the game wore on and more set plays were facing them, it showed that their set piece just wasn't up to Russia's, unfortunately, and that's put them under enormous pressure today, and just haven't had the answer.
Well, the Russians now only moments away from securing their 3rd Cup of Nations title in as many years, and they've done it in fine style. Worth remembering that there is a number of European Cup players being rested by Russia at the moment. I'm not saying in any way, shape or form that this is a second string side. It's just they have more hardware to add to this mix.
We know the difference that good depth can make to teams, and we can see right now that Russia has shown that they've got a lot of depth, because as you say, they've got quite a few Cup players away at the moment that aren't available.
So Russia potentially with the final throw of the dice. Ramil Gayson puts it on the right foot. Referee Stephen Copeman calls no side, and Russia beat Chile 42 points 11 in game 5 of the 2017 Regal Hotels Cup of Nations, and with it they take also the title themselves. The Cup of Nations goes to Russia with that magnificent final score, 42 points to 11. Russia champions in 2017, and what a performance it was for this Russian side as we get ready to look back now over the highlights of the second half. And really the second half was all about Chile as we take a look at this injury to Demnov, the loose forward, and then Russia, well, they just kept slamming away. It didn't matter whether they had 15 on the paddock or 14. Sozanov's try came from a fantastic breakout by Golonetsky, and Sozanov finally rewarded for all his good form in this tournament. Krotov, watch the number 8, just get the little back pass away. Sozanov was away. He's been a real find. He'll be one to watch as they move through their World Cup qualifying process. Then this tremendous take and run by Enizwiski. It was shut down by Golonetsky there, who was yellow carded, and away he went. But here they are, the Russian side, Moses Bailey.
Yeah, full money for their victory over there. They've been outstanding throughout the tournament. They've gone for 3 years undefeated. They've come into this tournament as reigning champions, and they've fulfilled that promise once again with a tremendous performance, especially in the first half of this game, Jed. They've been very, very strong.
So, Moses Bailey, expert comments coming from Hong Kong Cricket Club and Hong Kong International as we take a look at the Russian side, triumphant here today and triumphant here in this tournament. We have a lot of happy faces. My word, they've done some great work. Chile, on the other hand, well, they'll be feeling disappointed, as well they might. Started off strongly in this game, but ultimately faded against the power of Russia. Beating Kenya in their first game, 23-3. Then they had a mighty battle against Hong Kong. Did Chile. And it was a loss in the end as the Russians come over to accept. And we go down to Moses Bailey, pitch side now with the winning coach.
An outstanding performance by Russia sees them win their third straight Cup of Nations title. It's been a tremendous performance this week. What do you put it down to mainly?
Can you repeat the last part of the question?
What would you say was the best part of the Russian performance throughout this week?
Он поздравляет вас с победой. Третий год подряд мы выигрываем этот турнир. И что, по вашему мнению, являлось ключевым в нашей игре и победе?
Ну, я еще раз хочу поблагодарить организаторов турнира за саму организацию и за приглашение нас сюда.
First of all, he would like to thank the Hong Kong Rugby Union and organizers for our invitation here.
Я бы отметил возросший уровень турнира и в связи с силой команды хозяев и приглашенных команд.
And of course, he cannot say it's big improvement in the level of the tournament and participating teams here.
И нашей молодой команде было это очень полезно.
And for our young team, it was really good experience.
Это были хорошие игры, которые потребовали от нас отработку защиты.
And it was good games which help us to improve our defense.
И, конечно, какую-то изобретательную игру в нападении.
And plus, we need to add more creative play in attack.
Это хороший опыт.
So it was once again was good experience for us. Very good.
Very good. A last little question. Where next for Russia? What are you trying to achieve next? World Cup 2019.
Он спрашивает, а дальше что для нас? Какие для нас дальше планы?
Вот этот турнир – это тот первый шаг подготовки к матчам Европейского первенства, который в свое время одновременно является отбором на Кубок мира.
So this tournament is the first stepping stone for the preparation for the Rugby European Championship, which is a qualifier for the World
И поэтому это очень хорошее начало подготовки.
So this is a very good tournament to prepare ourselves for the qualification.
У нас есть шансы, и мы рассчитываем попасть на Кубок мира.
We have a chance, and we are looking forward to qualify for the World Cup.
Thank you.
Outstanding play. I thought Russia was outstanding. Well done. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio.
Bailey with the triumphant Russian coach as the photos begin and the back slapping begins. And very shortly, a bit of silverware will be moving its way into frame as the Russians now prepare to take the the Regal Hotels Cup of Nations trophy away with them. And here they are, as the graphic says, the winner of this 4-team tournament. Yet another picture as the presentation area is swiftly set up, standing there in the wings. You can see him, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Mr. Peter Schatz, just waiting to get in on the action. And indeed, we get ready now for the formal presentation, the handover of the silverware, and the formal congratulations to Russia for a tremendous tournament. 3 games, 3 wins. And really, it's fair to say they won this tournament going away. Everyone takes the appropriate place. And Peter Schatz it's ready to get it off. There they are, ladies and gentlemen.
You have to say, Jeddah, full value for money. Full value this week. They've been outstanding. They've put the performance after performance, and they're going to be a tough challenge in the future.
And a win as the trophy goes high to Russia, and they are the champions for 2017. 3rd year running for the Russian side, and Hong Kong continues to be a happy hunting ground for the Bear as they come down and sweep all before them, the champions of 2017. There it is, the Cup of Nations winners. Outstanding effort, winning game 5 of the tournament. Up next, well, it'll be one for the hometown viewers as the sun floods into the Hong Kong Football Club as we have game 6 just around the corner and getting ready to start in approximately 8 minutes time. It'll be Hong Kong taking on Russia. What will be, one would think, a very, very, very interesting and exciting encounter. Here he is, Ramil Gayson. Congratulations to him as under the building scapes, the skyscrapers. Russia 42, Chile 11, final score in game 5 of the Regal Hotels Cup of Nations.